and welcome back to my channel. Today this is going to be my third Halloween video of 2016 and it's going to be a sequin skull look. So I was actually inspired by an Instagram makeup artist called Jazmina Daniel. She did a very similar look to this, so I was really inspired to try it out myself. So I'll leave all of her details down in the description box below if you wanted to check out her work. So I'm just starting off by priming my face. I always like to do this when I'm doing really heavy makeup or special effects makeup because I think it provides a nice barrier to your skin. Now I'm going in with my Too Faced Born This Way foundation in warm beige, and I'm really just applying this on the lower half of my face. Because the top half of our face is basically going to end up covered in sequins, we still want to apply foundation to the lower half because we want this area to still look super flawless. Now just going in with my MAC Studio Fix powder and setting that lower half of my face. Now this step's a little bit unnecessary. It's just because I didn't really know what I was doing or how much of my face I was going to end up covering with the sequins, but I decided to bronze up my cheeks anyway because if my cheeks had been showing, I still wanted them to be super carved out. Now this step ends up being really unnecessary as well, but I decided to go in with this Youngblood contour kit and really contour out my cheekbones. I wanted them to look very, very structured, so I made strong lines down towards my mouth so that my face looked super chiseled like a skull. Then because we're still a glam skull, I decided to go in with my Champagne Pop highlighter and just highlight my chin with this. Now to start on the skull portion of the look, I'm going in with this white essence pencil and I'm just starting to map out the shape that I want. I like to use a white pencil rather than a black when I'm mapping out any shaping when I'm doing special effects makeup or any face painting or anything like that because white is much easier to erase if you make a mistake. As you can see here, I'm just sort of mapping out the shape that I want for the nose. I made a lot of mistakes doing this, and you probably will as well, but that is obviously the benefit of using the white, that you can go back and change it. So just doing the nose, and then I went around and created the eye shape as well, and I'd already mapped out sort of the shape around my cheeks that the mask was going to make. Now I'm just using this Vaseline cream and applying this to both of my eyebrows. I like to do this anytime I'm going to be using latex or gluing or face paint or anything like that because I really didn't want to rip out my eyebrow hairs when I took the product off. Now for the black portions of the face, I just used this gel liner that was pretty manky and I added a little bit of normal saline sort of salty water to it just so it made it a little bit more paint-like and was easier to work with. I didn't have any black face paint, so you can definitely use just whatever you have at home, maybe like a liquid liner or just a normal pencil liner, or you could even just use eyeshadow if that's all you have. So I'm just filling in those areas that we created with the white pencil and just making sure to cover all of it really, really thickly. It definitely doesn't need to be perfect because we are going to end up covering the edges with sequins anyway. Now I just used this silver body paint that I got from a craft store and I started to paint in the rest of the area on my face. So this really doesn't need to be perfect either. I couldn't really get a good coverage with this paint because it wasn't a very good quality paint, but it's basically just an underlayer before we apply the sequins so that if there's any little gaps between them, it's not as noticeable. Now this is the part that takes absolutely forever. I definitely, if I was going to go back and do this tutorial again, I definitely would not have used this technique. But I'm using this latex-free lash glue and just painting this on my face and then applying the sequins with my tweezers literally one by one. I think if I was going to do this tutorial again, I would just use a regular lash glue, not a latex-free one, so it had some time to get tacky. That way you could apply a larger amount to your face and then apply all the sequins and it would develop over time rather than drying super quickly. So you have to do very, very small patches. I really had no method when I was doing this at all. I was just applying some lash glue here, some sequins there. Basically, just wherever my mind took me, I would start working on. There was really no pattern or method to doing it at all. As you can see here, I then decided to go in and sort of create the mouth and then back to gluing and back to adding the sequins. This look is honestly so easy, and I swear anyone can do it. You can just use stuff that you have at home, or you can buy any of these things at your local craft store. It is very time consuming, but I think it looks super effective at the end, and it will be totally worth it on Halloween. My arm was so sore by this point, so I actually went in and found some different lash glue. This is your regular lash glue, not your latex free like I mentioned before. And I would just apply a big patch like this and spread it out quite evenly. And then I would go in with the sequins same way and just apply them one by one with the tweezers. But this was so much easier. It just meant that you didn't have to apply a tiny bit of lash glue, then sequins, tiny bit of lash glue, then sequins. Now that I've finished applying all the sequins, I just went back in with that gel liner and touched up my nose and fixed up any areas that I might have missed or needed to cover up more. Then I just used the gel liner to outline the lower half, that way it made it look more like a mask. Now to create the mouth, I just took that gel liner and I put it in the middle of my lips and sort of drawing like a straight line with this. Then I decided to stipple the black a little bit to add a little bit of extra dimension and also make it look a little bit grungy. Then I just used a liquid liner to draw in my teeth. I use this method because it's a little bit easier to get a finer point at the end of the teeth. If I could go back, I definitely would have added a little bit more sort of intensity to the teeth. I look at photos now and I think it looks good, but it would have looked a little bit more dramatic if the teeth were a little bit thicker. Now I'm using this matte black shadow from a Morphe palette and I'm just going over the black areas of my face. They were pretty glossy from the gel liner, so I just wanted to mattify them down a little bit. Now to finish off the look, I'm taking this lilac purple shade and applying this to my bottom lip. I went with this sort of bright purple look because I think it brings out the duochrome purple in the silver sequins. So that is the end of the tutorial today, guys. I really hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel or haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe down below. I'll leave all the products that I used down in the description box below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!